The school corridors smelled faintly of detergent and pencil shavings that morning, but for Emily, the air was thick with a different weight. A sense of being watched, measured and judged. She had joined Westbrook High just 3 weeks ago, and already whispers followed her like a shadow. She walked quietly, shoulders hunched, her books pressed tightly to her chest. She wasn't used to the noise, the cliques, the endless laughter that always seemed to be at her expense. A quiet transfer student with no friends and no desire to fit in. It was enough to make her a target. That morning, Emily thought she might make it through without incident. She had just finished her math test and slipped away to the restroom to avoid the chaos of the cafeteria. The bathroom tiles were cold beneath her sneakers, the fluorescent lights buzzing faintly overhead. She sighed with relief. It was one of the few places she thought she could find some peace. But peace rarely lasted long in a place where cruelty was currency. The door creaked open behind her. At first, she ignored it, but the sound of footsteps, heavy, dragging, made her turn. 3 boys stepped in, their smirks already written on their faces like graffiti. Chase, the tallest, with a mop of blonde hair and a cruel sparkle in his eyes, was the ringleader. Beside him were Tyler and Mason, always trailing like shadows. "Well, look who it is," Chase drawled, leaning against the sink. The silent princess of Westbrook, always hiding, always alone. Emily said nothing. She lowered her gaze and tried to walk past them. But Mason stepped in her path, his grin wide and sharp. "Hey, where are you going?" he said. "We just want to talk." Tyler chuckled. "Yeah, talk. Like how you think you're too good for everyone. Always sitting in the corner, acting mysterious." Emily clenched her fists around her books. Her silence seemed to amuse them more. Chase reached out and knocked the books from her hands. They scattered across the tile floor, pages bending, one notebook sliding under the stall. Emily's breath hitched, but she forced herself not to react. "Oops," Chase said mockingly. "Clumsy me." A Mason laughed. "Come on, say something. Do you even know how to talk? Or are you some kind of mute?" Tyler leaned closer, sneering. "Maybe she's hiding something. Why else would she always wear long sleeves, even when it's warm?" Emily froze at those words. The sleeves. She had never let anyone see beneath them. The mark on her arm wasn't just any mark. It was a symbol. One that carried stories and strength, one she had promised to keep hidden until the right moment. Her father's voice echoed in her memory. "Never show it unless you have to. That mark is a reminder of who you are, of what runs in your blood. It's not decoration, it's legacy." The boys circled her now, laughter bouncing off the bathroom walls. Chase shoved her shoulder lightly, testing her. "What's the matter? Cat got your tongue?" Mason added, "Maybe she's got scars. Maybe she cuts herself." His words dripped with mockery. Emily's jaw tightened. She bent down slowly to pick up her books, but Tyler kicked one away with a laugh. The sound of their cruelty filled the room, sharp and grating. Inside her chest, a storm was building. She had endured weeks of this. Whispers in hallways, laughter behind her back, cruel notes slipped into her locker. But here in this bathroom, surrounded by sneers and cornered by shadows, she felt the line snap. Her heart pounded. She remembered the nights her father had trained her, teaching her discipline, patience, the weight of silence before action. He had been a park ranger, strong and unyielding. And his mark, the mark she now carried, was passed down like fire in the bloodline. "There will come a day," he had said, "when you'll need to remind the world that strength doesn't always shout. Sometimes it waits, and then it strikes." Emily rose slowly, her gaze steady now. Her silence no longer submission but a coil of steel. The boys noticed the change. Chase frowned slightly. "What's with the look? You gonna cry or something?" Emily didn't answer. She placed her books carefully on the sink, her fingers brushing the edge of her sleeve. She hesitated for just a second. Then, without a word, she rolled it up. The bathroom went silent. The mark inked into her skin wasn't a tattoo from rebellion or fashion. It was sharp, intricate, a symbol of strength and authority. A ranger's mark, the emblem carried only by those trained in survival, in combat, in resilience. The black lines curved with purpose, etched like fire on her arm. Tyler's laughter died first, caught in his throat. Mason blinked, his smirk faltering. Chase's eyes widened, though he tried to hide it with a scoff. "What the hell is that?" Chase asked, but his voice wasn't steady anymore. Emily stepped closer, her eyes never leaving his. For the first time she spoke, her voice low and calm, carrying the weight of something older, stronger. "This mark," she said, Wasn't just ink. It means I was trained never to bow, never to run. My father was a ranger, and he made sure I'd carry the same strength. You wanted to see what I was hiding. Now you know." The boys stiffened, uncertainty flickering in their eyes. They had come looking for weakness, but what they found instead was a mirror of their own fear. The silence stretched long and heavy, broken only by the buzz of the fluorescent light. Emily didn't raise her hand against them. She didn't need to. The mark spoke louder than fists. The way she carried herself now, steady and unshaken, made the bathroom feel smaller, the boys' laughter emptier. Chase cleared his throat, forcing a chuckle. "So what? It's just some symbol. Doesn't mean anything." But his words rang hollow, his bravado cracking at the edges. Emily leaned closer, her eyes piercing through him. "It means I'm not afraid of you. And it means if you touch me or my things again, you'll regret it." The weight of her words pressed down on the room, suffocating their laughter. For the first time, the three boys weren't mocking. They were frozen. Emily pulled her sleeve back down, picked up her books, and walked out, her steps calm and deliberate. She didn't look back. She didn't need to. The silence she left behind was enough. But as she stepped back into the hallway, she knew this was only the beginning. The mark was no longer a secret. And once secrets escaped, they had a way of changing everything.